Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 7. I have to tell you guys, I was pleasantly surprised. This episode gave me something, and I was like, okay, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for, right? So, without further ado, let's just jump on into this episode. We start off the episode with Candy. She is FaceTiming Riley. We all know that Riley went away to college and she is living in my city, New York. She goes to NYU and they're just FaceTiming her and seeing how she's doing, and she seems like she's having a nice time on campus and living the college life. Then we flash on over to Cynthia. Cynthia's driving around and she is trying to call up her girls and nobody's picking up the phone. She's like, hello, hello, like it's just ring, 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 voicemail. Somebody else's voicemail box is all backed up so she can't even leave a message. And that's always a really annoying feeling when you're trying to call somebody and they don't pick up their damn phone. And it's like, pick up your phone. But I was kind of chuckling at that. Then we see another scene and it's Porsha doing some breathing exercises. And then we started off with Drew Sidora and her husband, Ralph. I have to say I was cracking up at how Ralph turned into this loving husband and family man who has his wife's back. I said, well, this is a nice change from what we've been seeing these past few episodes, but I digress. So they are getting ready to take a cute little walk around the neighborhood, and Ralph surprises Drew with the scooter. So she's excited, and they are just walking around. Drew brings up her dinner party. She's excited. She's going to have all the girls over to their house one last time before they move to the new house. Drew calls Candy just to make sure and double check that she will be attending her dinner party. Candy's like, oh yeah, I will definitely be there. And then we see Drew and Ralph just talking about how excited she is for the girls' trip. And she's like, I'm gonna need these 3 days. I am just so ready. And Ralph is all, I am so happy for you, honey. Like, you need this trip. Don't worry, I'm gonna hold down the fort while you're gone. And Drew kind of makes a joke like, yeah, like you owe me these days, because we all know that Mr. Ralph tried it in episode 2. He ran off to the beach in Tampa and did not call his wife or notify her that he was going away. So now we get to the next scene, and it is Kenya, and she is waiting for her new best friend, LaToya, to join her. And Kenya is talking about how she wants to lose a cute 5 pounds before they get on to this girls' trip. She really wants the chicken and waffles, but I think LaToya convinces her to get, I think, like a veggie scrambled egg or something like that. So they're eating the food. Kenya's talking about how good the food is here and how it reminds her of her husband Mark's food, because we all know that Mark owns a restaurant in Brooklyn. While Kenya is discussing how she wants to lose some weight, she comes bearing gifts and brings LaToya some bra and panties that she can no longer fit. She assures LaToya she's never worn them. These are brand spanking new. LaToya takes them and she starts sniffing the underwear, and she's like, ooh, girl, I might wear these for you on the trip. They exchange laughs, and then LaToya lets Kenya know that she is so excited for this girls' trip. She needs to get away. She needs the beach like immediately. And don't we all? So then Kenya lets LaToya know that they will be taking a private jet. So LaToya is like, oh my gosh, it's just me and you. Like, who else is going to be on the jet? And Kenya lets it be known that it's just going to be the 4 of them. It's going to be her, LaToya, her nanny, and little baby Brooklyn. So then, while she's talking about the trip to LaToya, Drew calls to invite Kenya over to her house for the dinner party. Kenya lets it slip that her and LaToya are going to be taking a private jet. And Drew is like, oh, wow, like, okay, like, y'all big balling over there. And then Kenya, of course, kind of being messy, she has Drew on speakerphone, and so she says, is LaToya invited? And Drew's like, I mean, yeah, sure, like, if she wants to come, like, she can come. And honestly, when somebody says you can come if you want to, that's not an invitation. And I wouldn't want any secondhand, well, I guess, girl invitation either. So Drew and Kenya hang up the phone, and then Kenya goes back on to discuss the travel arrangements for how they're going to be getting to South Carolina. And she also lets it be known that she was not paying any more money for more people to get on the jet. She said it was going to cost around like $50,000 if all the other ladies came on the jet, and she was not going to do that. She lets it be known that these girls all have gold, platinum, or black American Express cards, and they should break out their cards immediately. And then, of course, in true Kenya fashion, Kenya has to throw a dig at, she doesn't even think that some of them have Amex cards because some of them have poor credit. Then Mark comes up in the discussion, and LaToya's like, you know, how's that going between you two? Like, are you guys gonna get back together? Are you still doing the divorce proceedings? And Kenya is just like, it is just unbearable between me and Mark. Like, I can't talk to him. He wants to dictate where I can and can't take Brooklyn. Like, she has to ask for Mark's permission if Brooklyn can go out the country. She can't even use Brooklyn's image in her, like, upcoming hair care ad. Just a mess. I said, in all seriousness, this is what happens when you do not properly vet a man. And this is also what happens when you allow desperation to take over. Kenya was so desperate for this man and to get married that she is in a heap of mess with this man who is determined to make her life a living hell. Like, this is so sad. I would be dipped and damned if I'm the breadwinner and I have been doing a great job taking care of our kid, and then you place restrictions on me, and now I have to ask you for permission, and you're not even home like that. You're living 8 states away. Are you kidding me? So the scene ends with Kenya just hoping that the divorce doesn't turn contentious. So the next scene, we see Miss Drew and Ralph again. Baby, let me tell you something. I loved Drew's outfit. I loved her hair. That ponytail was everything to me. I was like, oh, I want to recreate that look. I love the makeup, that purple eyeshadow. Then she had that really sexy bra underneath. The suit was sexy. The whole look. She was feeling herself, and you could just tell. I loved it. Drew has a private chef, Chef Love. Chef Love is cooking that delicious poached salmon. I said, that salmon looks so good. I remember when she cooked it for them for their anniversary dinner, episode 2, and my mouth was like already salivating. And I said, oh, I'm gonna hire Chef Love. Chef Love, if you see this video, holla at me, please. And my Amex works, girl. But again, I digress. So she's getting ready. The bartender's there. They got the shots. She has the tequila and the agave, and it just looks so good. Ralph is in a really good mood. He's helping set up. He has the centerpieces, and he can't wait for the other ladies to show up. I was like, wow, this must be a new and improved Ralph, child. I said, I said, how long is this good mood gonna last, though, before he turns back into the devil that he's been acting like for the past few months? But I digress. All the ladies start trickling in one by one, and it was so funny because Cynthia got there first, and she's ringing the doorbell, and they don't hear her. So then Ralph finally is like, oh, I think that's Cynthia, and he goes, gets the door, and then Cynthia comes on in. She has a really nice box of wine for them. I said, ooh, those wines look really good. And then we see Candy show up, and it was so funny because Candy was standing at the door for a little minute, and then she had to let herself in. I was cracking up because I said, did their doorbell not work or something? But that was just so funny to me. So then Kenya gets there, and then Porsha gets there. She is the last to arrive. And they are all just having a good time. Ralph is out there with the ladies. Like, I thought that Ralph was going to go and like watch some TV or go out, but no, Ralph was in the mix. He's being so nice. He's just assisting the ladies and refreshing their drinks if they wanted something, because they were outside at this point. I was cracking up when Drew and them took shots, and then Drew was like, ooh, like my mouth is dancing because this shot was just so like, you know, fiery, so spicy. And then Ralph was like, oh, what did you say? Your mouth was doing what? And I said, I said, Ralph can't wait for those ladies to leave so he can tear it up. I said, I know that's right. Drew was looking amazing. So while the ladies are talking and laughing, Drew turns to Kenya and is like, oh, Kenya, like, do you know if LaToya is coming? Like, I invited her. Like, is she coming? Like, you know, you guys are like Bobsy twins attached at the hip. Like, do you know anything? And Kenya's laughing and like, oh, you know, girl, you got to call her and find out where she's at. So since LaToya's name has been brought up in conversation, Porsha takes it upon herself to be the bone collector, and she decides she is going to relay what LaToya said about her a few nights ago. So Porsha's like, girl, LaToya was just talking all this crap about you and your wig. So then Porsha keeps going on, and then to add insult to injury, she then throws Candy and Cynthia under the bus, and they're just like, Porsha, like, really? Porsha's like, and Cynthia and Candy were with me when this happened. Like, we were all drinking and taking shots together, and they saw the whole thing. Of course, Drew is a little bit annoyed, and she's like, really? Like, I have never done anything to this girl. Like, I don't even know this girl for her to be talking badly about me. Like, whatever. So then the ladies go inside to eat, and the food looked so good. That dessert looked really good. I think it was like sponge cake. So then Drew starts talking about her singing career, how she wants to put out some new music, but she's nervous because, you know, she loves music and music is like her baby and she just wants to take her time with it. Then Drew also lets the ladies know that since her mom is a pastor, she also leads like praise and worship. So then Kenya's like, oh girl, like sing us something then. So then Drew's like, now? Like me? And they're like, yeah girl, sing. So then Drew starts singing Amazing Grace, and she sounds really nice. When Porsha was trying to compare them both singing Amazing Grace in her confessional, I was like, Porsha, please, stop it, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that. Conversation was flowing. They're all having a good time. And then they bring up the trip. Kenya tells all the ladies that they need to meet at Candy's house because the Sprinter is going to be there at her house and it's going to be driving them to South Carolina. Drew then says, oh, so we're all taking a Sprinter together. And then Kenya's like, no, me and LaToya are going ahead of the group. We aren't going to be taking the Sprinter. So then Drew's like, oh, are you taking another Sprinter? And Kenya, of course, is being evasive. I don't understand why Kenya feels the need to like do all this really like sneaky cloak and dagger stuff. Just own it. If I rent a private jet, I'm not going to be shy about it. I'm going to say, look, I'm renting a private jet. I did it with my own money. If anybody else wants to join me, then give me $10,000 and I'll reserve your seat on the jet too. But all of this, you're doing it and then you don't want anybody to know that you're doing it and then you're getting mad at Drew. Like, come on, you're a grown woman. Stand in it and just own it. Just cut it out. So then Drew says, oh, Kenya, like, how are you getting there? Drew lets us know in her confessional that 10 minutes after she had called Kenya at that lunch a few days ago, Kenya texted her like 10 minutes later and was like, hey, Drew, please don't mention the private jet to anyone. It's just a little secret. Please don't say anything. Drew's like, got it. My lips are sealed. Not going to say anything. So because of that conversation that they had, Kenya was a little bit annoyed at Drew for even asking her at the table, well, how are you getting there? And although I am not a Kenya fan, and I think she can be just very mean for no reason, I understood a little bit of why she was annoyed with Drew, because it was like, girl, I just told you, don't mention it in front of the other ladies. Why are you playing dumb? I told you that we're taking the jet. Like, why are you going to ask me in front of everybody, am I going to be on the Sprinter? Of course I'm not going to be on the Sprinter because I rented a private jet. Like, come on. So now Kenya is really pissed off, and she's like, Drew is very sneaky, and she's kind of not feeling Drew. And because of that awkward moment between Drew and Kenya, then everybody else starts joking around about how they want to take the private jet too. Cynthia lets them know that she's going to be coming into South Carolina a little bit later than them because she has a business engagement to take care of first. So then she makes a joke and is like, Kenya, you want to swing the private jet to come get me? And Kenya's kind of like, oh girl, like whatever. The dinner ends and all the ladies are headed out. Ralph and Drew all say goodbye to them, you know, warm hugs. And then Porsha lets it be known that she and Drew and Ralph are all neighbors because she lives right around the corner from them. So she's like, yeah, like I'm right there. Like, you know, I'll see y'all later. And then in Drew's driveway, you hear Candy kind of pressing Kenya like, Kenya, are you really taking a jet? And Kenya just will not own up to it. And she's just like laughing nervously. And it's like, girl, just say it. Just say it. Yes, I'm getting there by private plane. Okay? Enough already with all this secrecy. It drives me nuts, but whatever. Before I close out this scene, Drew, I understand you were annoyed with LaToya, but sis, when you were trying to make a crack towards LaToya having a YouTube channel, and you were like, girl, a YouTube channel? Like, really? I was like, girl, don't do it. I was like, Drew, I like you, but don't do it. Don't do us girls. Don't do it, because a lot of these former reality stars be hopped up on YouTube after their time is over, okay? So don't be trying to sit up here and play Miss YouTube. I won't stand for it, but I thought that was really funny. So we move on to the next scene, and we see all the ladies are packing. We see Cynthia talking to Noelle about this road trip to South Carolina. They're just joking around. Noelle makes a few cracks about how these girls' trips always seem to go left, and Cynthia's just laughing. Then we see Porsha. She's on the phone with her mama, and she is discussing where PJ is going to be while she's away for those 3 days. And so she's like, Dennis is going to have PJ, and for some reason, if he can't watch her, you know, you are here on standby. And Diana's like, oh yeah, of course, like I'm here to watch PJ in case they can't. But she's excited for PJ to spend some time with Dennis and spend some time with Dennis's mom, Mama Gina. And then we see Candy. She's packing and she's like, I don't know what to bring. Like, I gained so much weight. Todd's on the bed and he's like, you know, babe, you are not big. You are like Megan Thee Stallion thick. And so she's like eating up the compliments while Candy is contemplating what she's going to wear for this girls' trip. Todd mentions how he went to Mike's tuxedo fitting. And then he lets Candy know that he has been picked as the master of ceremonies for Mike's bachelor party. And he's like, we're going to be doing like a stripper palooza. We're going to be going from a strip club to strip club to strip club. And it's going to be like a stripper zip lining. And so Candy's like, okay, like, right. So then Candy is like, oh, well, that makes me realize that we still need to throw a bachelorette party for Cynthia. And then Todd is like, you should throw a bachelorette party for Cynthia while you guys are in South Carolina. That's the perfect time to do it. So then he's like, you know, call up some strippers that we know that they'll come down to South Carolina. Like all the people who are part of that dungeon stuff that Candy was doing a few seasons back. And so she's like, yeah, that's a really great idea. So then her wheels are turning. And so we already know that Candy's going to have some tricks up her sleeve, child. So the next scene, it is the day of the trip. we see Kenya and LaToya are in the car. They are headed to the airport hangar to get on their private jet, okay? And she's excited. LaToya is like, yes, girl, like, yes, sugar mama, like, thank you so much for the private plane, sugar mama. And I said, I know that's right. So they are just really geeked and excited. And then we see the rest of the ladies all meeting up at Candy's house. Porsha gets there first. Shamia's there too. Can I just say, I love Shamia so much. Like, I get so upset every single time I see Shamia and see that she is not a cast member. I've heard that Andy has asked Shamia to be a housewife like every single season, and she turns it down because her husband is like, no. I know that she's married to like an older man, and like he doesn't play that reality TV stuff. So I'm like, Shamia, please talk to your husband again, because I think that she would be such a fabulous addition to Housewives. I think Shamia is just so beautiful. Like, I am like obsessed with her. Like, love you. Shamia, if you're watching this, I just love you to death, okay? But I digress. So Shamia's there, and then they're just really excited, and Porsha's like, oh, let's have a group hug. And then Porsha's like, let's kiss. And Candy's like, girl, no. And then we see the flashbacks of what happened 4 years ago. Y'all remember that season. That was a whole mess between Candy and Porsha. So Candy's like, girl, we will not be reliving that again. Like, you had your chance. Absolutely not. So then we see Dennis pop out. He's helping Porsha with her luggage. And then Candy's like, every time Porsha gets some Henny up in that system, she go crawling back to her baby daddy. So Porsha just says, you know, it's not like that. I'm just happy that he drove me. I didn't have to take an Uber or, you know, get a car. Like, he offered, so like, why not? So then we see Tanya arriving, and she's excited. And then they're all getting into the Sprinter. And then Marlo is the last to show up. And of course, Marlo always has to do the most. Marlo loves to have a moment. And she is in a full-blown hazmat suit. She's like, girl, it is COVID. Like, I ain't trying to cash nothing. So cash me in this suit. And they're all like, girl, if you don't take that suit off and stop it. So Marlo gets on the bus, and then she finally takes off the suit. They are ready to ride. The topic of Porsha and Dennis comes up again, and then Porsha's talking about how Dennis was really hurt when they broke up, and he's still hurting, but he's happy that Porsha is doing what she has to do. And then Porsha says in her confessional that the goal is for them to just co-parent together. And she is hoping that they can eventually become friends. I personally think that Porsha is full of it. I think that she wants Dennis back. Like, I really do. I think that she's just saying what sounds good, because you can never quite tell what's really going on with them. And even the girls were kind of like, really? And they were like, well, did he spend the night at the house? And she's like, yeah, he did, but he slept on the couch. There was no sex, no head, no fingering, no nothing. There was no sort of sexual activity going on whatsoever. I said, okay, girl. But if you say so, I'll take your word for it. But I'm still going to be like, So then the topic of threesomes comes up. Marlo asks if any of them have ever had one. And I noticed that the same people always find a way to skirt out of answering that question. Like, Porsha has never come clean if she has or hasn't had one. I feel like she has, but then she isn't willing to share it. I don't know. I just feel like Porsha is always in somebody else's business, but then when it comes to telling her own business, then she's all tight-lipped. So Tanya's like laughing, and I think it was Marlo, was it Candy, or somebody said, well, yeah, we know that Tanya's had one, and she was like, no comment, no comment. And it's so funny because I wouldn't think that Tanya would have threesomes, but I said, hey, you know, you never know. Like, you can't judge a book by its cover. So I said, who am I to say, well, I don't think Tanya would have a threesome, but hey, she might want to get down with the get down. So then I think it was Tanya who asked Candy, when you have threesomes, do you make the ladies sign non-disclosures? And Candy's like, yes, of course. And every time Candy talks about that, I always want to know, is she still having threesomes with Todd, or is it over and done with? And Marlo says, there's no way I'm having a threesome with somebody's rich husband and I'm doing it for free. I said, I know that's right. Marlo said, honey, if you want all this, you gotta have to pay. I said, I know. So then we go over to see Kenya and LaToya. They have already landed in South Carolina. They're excited. They head on over to the house, and the house looked really pretty. You see the sand, you see the beach, and they are picking out the rooms that each lady is going to stay in. Of course, since Kenya cannot stand Marlo, she gives Marlo the worst room. She's like, oh, I know Marlo's going to hate this room. That's going to be her room. Her and LaToya and Cynthia get the best rooms. And then we see, you know, Candy has a nice room, Porsha has a nice room, and like Drew and Tanya all have cute rooms as well. We flash on back to the ladies on the bus. And so I guess Kenya was posting up pics on Instagram of them on the jet. And Marlo is like, wait a second, Kenya was on a private plane? Like, are you serious while we're on a bus? And then she says, wow, even baby Brooklyn, Kenya's daughter, is riding better than us. And it's a picture of Brooklyn on the jet. And so Porsha is like, wait, excuse me? Like, Brooklyn? Like, what? She's coming on this trip? And then Porsha's mad, like, there's a complete double standard. Like, I would have brought my baby. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I wish I could bring my kid. Like, I'm, like, pissed off right now. When I tell you, this whole thing felt so reminiscent of Potomac, with the whole debacle between Ashley and Wendy and them bringing their babies. I said, child, can't we all just have a good time, please? But that was the episode. Thank you all for watching my recap. You already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Bye.